over, 124. Batty bowls, and he hits this one away. This, I think, is the 10th six. It's going up straight towards long on, and a brilliant pickup shot, which gives him his 10th six in an innings here, which, as I say, is going to be remembered by the Essex supporters for a long time. He's got 91 from 32 balls, but his 10 sixes and 5 fours, and again in the familiar area, picking it up and hitting it down the ground. It's a third six to come from the over. 2-1-6-6 wide 6 so far in this over, so we've got 22 runs from it so far. Phenomenal stuff from Cameron Delport, 91 from 32 balls. The game that started at 8:15 is 15 overs aside.
He's on track for the third fastest 100 in T20 cricket.
Here is Batty to bowl to him, and he hits this one, doesn't quite time it for once. It goes out towards deep mid-wicket, and they've got one, and they'll have to settle for that. So 132
Where's the next guy? 35.
for 3. So another incredibly expensive over with 3 sixes in it. And we're looking at the records of basically fastest hundreds, and this is going to certainly be one of the quickest, not quite the quickest we think, but one of them. 92 not out, 11 to Lawrence, 132 for 3 with 5 overs to go.
So he's not quite got the 30. So the quickest is 30.
Right.
Ever. We'll get you who that is in a second. The next quickest is 32. He's on 33 at the moment, and there's 4 on 35. He's got 8 runs to get. Powered away into the leg side, it's going to go straight to the field. As that's his 34th ball, he goes to 93. So
well, it reminds me
of one of the fastest.
Commentating on the Graham Napier innings, where you had a lot of the same shot. Graham tended to play a lot of them out towards deep mid wicket. This has been different. They've been hit down the ground. I would have thought 8 of the 10 sixes have been hit in much the same sort of area, David.
Yep.
Down the ground.
Lawrence on strike, that's wide of off stump. As Imran Tahir bowls from the Hayes close end, another wide, and yeah, certainly putting the Surrey bowlers off their stride. 133 for 3, correction, 134 for 3, and make that 138 for 3 as that one's punched straight back over the bowler's head. This is going to be a gargantuan score off 15 overs.
This could be 200.
Yeah, we're in the 11th here on BBC Essex and medium wave 765 and online as well, bbc.co.uk/sport, and follow the cricket commentaries. 50-run partnership has come off of that, just went off the screen.
Fastest T20 100, Chris Gale, 30 balls.
Reverse sweep coming in again, and he's caught it. He's run away to claim the catch, but it's not given. And Lawrence just stands his ground.
Sorry, not too happy there. Ben Folkes thought he had the man, but not to be. Nothing much going Surrey's way at the moment.
138 for 3, Lawrence on 15. As the next delivery is pulled away into leg side, that's going to be 6 as well. It's raining 6s here at Chelmsford. That one goes away over the community stand, away to our left-hand side, deep mid-wicket. And Lawrence goes to 21, and they're taking apart the Surrey bowling at the moment. That's 144 for 3, and Aaron Finch's eyes are bulging here.
Well, it's an extraordinary exhibition. We've got 12 runs off this over so far. After sort of relatively quiet, just initial couple of overs, wasn't it? And then suddenly Delport started to find his range, and there's been no looking back, and Dan Lawrence started to play very well as well. So you do wonder, from Surrey's point of view, how they can keep this within bounds in a 15 over a side game. 144 for 3 in the 11th over.
Well, if only they'd done this last night.
Yeah, well, of course Delport didn't make many last night.
To hear him bowls. Oh, that one's punched down the ground as well. Another 6. This is such an exhibition of clean hitting. Straight back over the bowler's head, and Dan Lawrence is getting on the act here. He goes to 27, and the score is 150 for 3.
Yep, Dan Lawrence very much getting in on the act, and clearly the spinner's struggling with a damp ball. And Tahir and Batty not able to exert any real control here for Surrey. And 150 up in the 11th over, and so far we've got 18 in this over, including the wide.
I think we're on to our 3rd new ball now, 4th maybe.
Absolutely extraordinary. So
the last 50 came off 2.4 overs.
That's pretty good. You won't get many like that.
to here into Lawrence, who's going to swing away again. That's another 6 over straightest mid-wicket, and we might need another ball as Surrey bowlers are being taken to task here, and Lawrence and Delport who's given Lawrence the lead, and Lawrence has taken it by the scruff of the neck. That's a superb shot, and again another exhibition of clean hitting from the young Essex man. 156 for 3 after 11.
Wow. So still 4 overs to go, and Essex, well, they could get over 200. I mean, they probably will actually. If you think there's still a third of their innings to go and they've got 150, they'll be thinking if these two can stay together, and Lawrence is hitting it very, very cleanly. Another 75 maybe, that's the going rate, isn't it? The actual scoring rate, they could get it up to something which is surely going to be out of Surrey's reach in a 15 over a side game.
Well, Tom Curran put a bit of pace on the ball. He's coming in from the river end. He's up to stumps now, right arm over. Oh, that's a bigger swing and a miss. And Delport just lost a bit of timing in his last 2 or 3 deliveries.
Yeah, perhaps the last 2 or 3 deliveries, yeah, 93, 35 balls. 35 balls, by the way, is the fastest T20 century in international cricket. That's David Miller for South Africa and Rohit Sharma. So this in domestic cricket, 30 ball Chris Gale is the fastest we can find.
Curran in again, number 59 is back, bowls, that's flicked away down the leg side and over the man. That short fine leg for 4 runs, just got enough of it, and Delport goes to 97 off 36 deliveries, and they will let us know how far down the list that is.
And then the next thing would be the fastest in the T20 Blast, which of course with Chris Gale wasn't in the T20 Blast, so if we can find anything on that.
So if he gets his 100 off this delivery, it'll be the joint 3rd fastest in England T20 Blast.
37 balls, yeah.
So 97 to Delport, he's on strike. Curran coming in from the river end. He's up to the stumps now, and he bowls to Delport, who swings and misses, and that goes through to Ben Folkes.
He hasn't done that very often, has he?
No.
97 from 37 balls with 10 sixes.
And Lawrence is no slouch, 33 off 11.
Absolutely. And Lawrence has done a very good job, and in fact really took on Imran Tahir in that last over just to consolidate the work of Delport.
160 for 3 in the 12th over here on BBC Essex. Remember, it's a 15 over game as well, aside. Short delivery, pulled away through the leg side. Is that flat 6? Is that flat 6? It is! Oh, what a shot that was to bring up his 100. A flat 6, just behind backward square on the leg side. And Delport goes there in style. 166 for 3, and Delport's on 103 off 38 deliveries. 4th fastest in Britain.
Goodness me, what an innings that has been, and that was an extravagant shot to bring up the 100, wasn't it? A straight flat 6 over deep backward square leg. Phenomenal innings, and as I say, those who were here for the Graham Napier innings will be making comparisons. It's been quite astonishing.
103 off 38 deliveries as Curran comes in again to Delport. He's going to swing away again, pulled away to the leg side. There's a chase on here, there's going to be 4 more! And it is reminiscent of that fantastic evening where Graham Napier smashed his 150.
Well, the Essex fans will be thinking that what a good job we had a game here, because for a while this evening we thought we might have none.
107 to Delport off 39 deliveries. It's 170 for 3. Oh, good lord, there's still 3 overs left off these next deliveries. Curran comes in short again, and a swing and a miss, slower delivery.
Yeah, good ball that. And you could say there haven't been enough variation from Surrey, but they have been overwhelmed really by this onslaught.
49 for the over, and Essex are 173 after 12. Is he saying it's Essex's fastest ever T20 100? Yeah. I think it might be quicker than Graham Napier, yeah. Yeah, great. As far as I remember, Graham Napier accelerated towards the end, didn't he?
Yeah. Wow.
So Ricky Clark taking over from the Hayes close end. Right arm over to Lawrence, and he bowls now. It's a full toss, pulled away to the leg side. That should be 6. That That should be 6, backward a square on the leg side, and it's also going to be a no ball, so expensive delivery this. 8 off that one delivery, 178 for 3.
Looks like another expensive over coming, doesn't it? 8 off none.
It won't be a free hit because it's over hip height. Oh no, it's a free hit. So it's going to be a
Can't
free
get a
hit
worse
as well.
start than that to an over, a no ball that's been hit for 6. Dan Lawrence, we have to say, he's the undercard if you like, but this has been a tremendous innings from him.
39 off 12 so far for Dan Lawrence. Ricky Clark served up a no ball 8 and a free hit as well, so he's got license to swing here. Lawrence, Clark coming in, bowls. Lawrence comes down the ground, punches away through the offside. It should just be 2, I think. Lawrence will trot through for a second, comes off the toe end of the bat as long off runs round, and 2 more to the total. 180 for 3. Jeez, where does this end from an Essex?
Maybe from a Surrey perspective, when they're probably relieved it's only 15 overs, but the damage, I mean, this is it might be beyond Aaron Finch. Aaron Finch is clearly going to be a big wicket right at the start. If Essex can take it, you'll feel that even with a strongish looking batting lineup, it's going to be desperately difficult for Surrey to get these runs.
Here comes Ricky Clark down the pitch, and that's punched away up in the air. Now, has he got the legs? No, it hasn't. Long on's coming in. He's got a difficult catch, and he's dropped it. He's showed it, can feel the pressure. I think that's Sam Curran coming from long on, hugging there a long time. The crowd wound him up, and it's going to be one of those evenings from a Surrey point of view.
Well, up to that point, I'd just been thinking that the Surrey fielding had managed to hold together, and you know, with the pressure of this onslaught, and when the catching chances had come, they'd taken them. And that's perhaps the first sign of the overall pressure being exerted by these two just having an effect. Relatively straightforward, that.
So it brings Delport onto strike, right arm round for Clark. Delport pulls away into the leg side down the ground. It's go towards long on for a single, and the crowd are involved now, and that's not what you want when you come down to Essex, because they're really close in, right on top of the fielders, especially those down on the boundary ropes.
Well, it's been a fortress in the Championship, 6 wins out of 6. Disappointing night for Essex last night on the road, but my word, they've taken their Championship form into tonight in a completely different way, of course, but what a performance this has been.
As Clark comes in again from the Hayes close end, that's down the leg side. That's a good
another
stop.
No ball,
and another no ball as well, so a free hit, 2 runs because they run a single as well. It's going to be a wide, so the score is going to go to 185 for 3.
So, wow, I mean, this is going to be, what, an 8 ball over? It's not, apart from the 6, it's not been too damaging so far, but it could end up being that way. Chastening experience for Surrey, really is.
I wait for the scoreboard to update. I don't think that's right, is it, Dave? 182 for 3, it's saying at the moment. Clark comes in again. Delport steps to the leg side, takes a big swing and a miss, and it just drops out into the offside, a single.
I'm sure it was quite a clear call of no ball there of the previous delivery, but at the moment the scoreboard is not updating at all.
He definitely held his hand out for a no ball, didn't he?
Yeah, in fact it's just not updating at all at the moment, the scoreboard, so maybe a little bit of a fault there. We reckon it's 186, so because it's now starting to update. It's got the 2 no balls and it's got the single, so it has updated. It just went to sleep for a moment, so it confirms that we did get a no ball. So the second one in the over, then the single. 186 for 3.
186 for 3 in the 13th as Clark comes in, bowls to Lawrence, who crashes that one away over deep mid wicket. 4-6. He's plundering runs here. He's got 49 off 16. And as much as Delport's having a devastating effect down one end, Lawrence has come in and punched the ball to all corners of the field, and it's 104 runs on 33 balls at this partnership.
Yeah, absolutely astonishing, and the strike rates are interesting because Lawrence has overtaken Delport's strike rate. Delport 257, Lawrence 306 runs per 100 balls.
Clark coming in again to Lawrence, who backs away and cuts this one down towards deep point for a single. That's a good Yorker length delivery. Just forced the batsman to think differently about the shot he's going to play. And that's 50 up for Dan Lawrence. 50 off 17 deliveries. He gets a standing ovation as well.
Well, the funny thing is, David, last night the Essex batting was a 2-man show. Tender Scarter and Wesley, and nobody else really got any. It has been again tonight, but this time you feel that the result should be very different, because this is a tremendous score in the 13th over. Remember, it's only 15 overs a side, but 192 for 3 is a sort of score. But if Essex had had 20 overs tonight and they'd been offered that at the start, they'd have probably taken.
Yeah, so still got, amazingly, still got 2 overs left.
I wonder if Surrey might be under time pressure because of the fact they've all these wides and no balls.
Curran in, bowls, full. Oh, that's a decent block hole delivery. They get through for a single. Lawrence just gets the bat down in time, squeezes past the leg stump, and he'll get a single to the total. He goes to 51, and the scoreboards are struggling to keep up.
Yeah. Maybe, yes, they're sort of gone on meltdown.
I think that should be 194 for 3.
Yes, I think it's just gone slightly slow, but some not very good bowling figures. It will read out in full during the break. But yeah, Essex just want to just keep the momentum up, see if they can get to around about 225, 230. It's still entirely possible.
Delport on strike as Tom Curran comes in from the Hayes close end. Up to stumps now, right arm over, bowled, pulled away to the leg side. That's going to be 6 more. That was flat, that was hit hard, and Delport goes to 114, and Essex bring up their 200, I think that should be.
Well, that's his 12-6. So
200 up off 13.2 overs.
Absolutely remarkable exhibition. Pulled ride that, brilliantly hit.
Well, the bowling's not been great, as Nick was saying. They haven't mixed it up enough, the Surrey bowlers, but the batting has been of the top order. Did you say it was 14 sixes?
I think it's 12.
12 sixes. 18 altogether. As Curran comes in, and he just gets the bat down on that ball. It's a good Yorker length again, and a good response from Tom Curran.
I think Graham Napier's still got the record in the T20, 16 sixes in the 152 not out from 58 balls, and leading the way is Chris Gale, 18 sixes and 146 not out. That's the most sixes in a T20 innings. And Graham Napier, the top two in fact are Chris Gale, and it's Graham Napier with the leading one in the T20.
Curran in again, bowls. That one's pulled in the air. That's going to go for 6, is it? Has it got the legs? There's a fielder underneath it. It has. Again, I didn't think he hit that, but it had to carry. Another 6. He goes to 13 sixes, and the score goes to 206 for 3.
So is Graham Napier's T20 record going to be threatened? Because Graham, with those 16 sixes, that's the most we can see in any T20 match. Essex against Sussex, 24th of June 2008, and he's closing in on it now. He's got 13.
On 20 off 45. Can he get Napier's record as well? Curran in again. Delport swings away. That should be a no ball. I think that's over hit high. He's waiting for the signal. It's gone down towards long on, and I think it's going to be a no ball as well. And a free hit coming up.
Well, it's just an absolute disaster, this, from Surrey's point of view. It's completely fallen apart.
So 3 runs off that delivery, 209 for 3. And Delport will be on 121. It's a free hit as well.
It's a pedigree bowling lineup, but it's just been completely taken to pieces this evening.
14 extras so far as Curran comes in. It's swung away into the leg side. There's a fielder out there. He's not going to get there though. Is it 6 or 4? Waiting for the signal coming up. And it's just 4 runs this time. Waiting for the fielders to call it. But a lovely shot from Lawrence. Expensive delivery, 7 off it.
Fielder must have been thinking to himself, well, I might as well just say it's 6 because it's not going to make much difference. No, it actually was close to being a catch. It bounced short of the rope, so it clearly was not far away from being a catch. But I think near things almost Surrey have given up on any prospect of any success here, surely.
Extraordinary. Bowls again, punched away into the offside this time. It's cleared the fielder. There's a fielder down in the deep. Oh, it's a tumbling stop. It was swerving all over the place. They'll come back for a second run. He's done well, the fielder there. 215 for 3. Lawrence goes to 57 off 21.
And the extraordinary thing, this is happening on a night where the rest of a T20 programme has been decimated by weather, and Chelmsford, as it sometimes does, has just managed to survive a little bit by the skin of its teeth. It was on the eastern flank of this rain belt. It's just managed to survive the worst of it. The forecast is conditions better later in the evening, and it looks a bit clearer, David, doesn't it? So I think hopefully we are going to see a full game now.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Of course, Essex will be very keen to have 5 overs of the Surrey innings in this situation of 215 for 3 with an over to go.
Yeah, we're going to get close towards the 11 o'clock finish, aren't we? once they've had their lunch break and tea break. Here
So
comes
13 sixes.
last over, Dernbach in towards Delport, who pulls it away to the leg side. That should be 6 more. Yes, it is. It clears the fielder out towards the boxes, away to our right-hand side. Deep mid-wicket was there, but was never going to get there. And 6 more. Delport goes to 127. It's 221 for 3. Extraordinary in the 15th over here on BBC Essex.
Well, if anyone's going to sort of break these records, it's going to be somebody batting in the top 3. But remember, this is a 15 over a side match. Just imagine if you had another 5 overs to go.
Stunning stuff as Delport waits again for Dernbach, who comes in and bowls, and this one's pulled into the leg side. It will just be a single this time. Oh, they're going to come back for a second run. It's good running from Lawrence. Throw goes towards the wicket-keeper's end, but Delport's back. He goes to 129, and it's 223 for 3. Excellent running, and Lawrence gives his batting partner a clap with his bat there, and he'll want Delport to have as much of the strike as possible. 4 legitimate deliveries left. They'll be looking, scouring through the record books now. It's got to be the most runs off 15 overs in a T20 competition.
Probably
surely.
quite a hard record to find that.
As Dernbach comes in again to Delport. Full toss, punched away up in the air, and the fielder's interested down at long on, and he's going to take the catch, and Delport perishes on 129. Excellent innings from Delport, 129 for 48, and he's going to get a standing ovation from the Essex crowd.
Just for once, he's hit a straight one down the ground and hasn't got enough on it. Just for once. Well, I think everyone is on their feet here, David, looking around the ground. Sometimes you get standing ovations and people think, oh, well, let the others applaud. But everyone who can has got on their feet here. And that is the way to start in front of your new home crowd, as he jogs off and gets a rapturous ovation.
Take a bow, Cameron Delport, if you've got the energy. He'll be back out on the field to field shortly. That's a wicket and a dot ball for Surrey. 223 for 4. 3 legitimate deliveries left. It's Lawrence on strike. Bopara at the non-striker's end as Lawrence comes outside off stump. He misses out entirely, so it's going to be another dot ball.
It's been a fine effort from Lawrence as well. He's going to, he has been slightly overshadowed, but in any normal situation, we'd be very much giving Lawrence as the headline act.
14 sixes included in that 129.
In the end, not that many 4s in comparison, because most of the big shots went for 6. Very, very strong down the ground, but also showed a full repertoire as innings went on.
Penultimate delivery of the innings as Dernbach comes in. Another full toss off the toe end of the bat, goes down towards long on. So Bopara is going to see 1 delivery.
129 from 49 balls, 7 4s and 14 6s, and strike rate of 263 runs per 100 balls. And Lawrence has almost matched it. He's just fallen behind slightly by just taking a single there, but Lawrence, in terms of strike rate, has been very, very close to Delport.
Well, I think we can safely assume that Ravi's going to swing at this one. Nothing to lose as Dernbach comes in. Bopara on strike, up to the stumps now, and he bowls, and that's wide of off stump. That's going to be given a wide, so he's going to get one more chance at it. 224 for 4.
Well, Ravi likes time to play himself in. He had a wide to play himself in there. So 14 6s. Graham Napier has the most with 16. Chris Gale, Somerset, Kent, this is in domestic T20, has 15. And I reckon he's 3rd in that list of T20 blast, most 6s in an innings.
Dernbach in again from the Hayes close end, bowls full toss, and Bopara misses out, and that's gone down towards Folks, who'll run the ball back, and they'll get a single. A bye, finishes the innings, so Essex finish on 225 for 4, but the standout innings.
opening with Aaron Finch. But surely Essex have just got to bowl to a plan here, and you feel if they can get Finch early, the asking rate is going to be just something that is quickly going to become impossible. But Surrey will feel they're still in this game, albeit by a slender margin at this stage. But to have to score at 15 and over from the outset, you feel Essex are going to have to bowl poorly for Surrey to get anywhere close. This should be a night when Essex really get their T20 campaign going, having lost last night in the end quite a heavy defeat against Middlesex, but up against the other London side tonight and really coming up trumps.
Well, that should be on their mind as well. With such a big score, they should be trying to win heavily against Surrey tonight, trying to claw back what they lost last night.
Aaron Finch will not take strike. It will be Will Jacks, and he's going to face the opening over, which sees a stroke a lot through the covers, and it's Snater who's opened the bowling, and there's going to be a 4 off the first ball. It's obviously a very good pitch, this. That one went all the way to the boundary. Essex have only got 2 fielders. Once that got through the offside infield, there was a fair chance. It actually got past Delport. He didn't have a chance of cutting it off, and the sweeper away to our left couldn't do so either. So at the moment, Surrey are up with the rate, 4 from the first delivery.
Well, it's going to be a very good pitch if you pitch short and wide outside the off stump.
Wasn't a great start on this occasion from Snater, who comes up to the wicket and bowls, and that's lofted away down the ground. He hasn't quite got everything on that as Jacks, but it's still going to go for 4. Not as clean a hit as the one that we saw earlier on from Delport and Lawrence, but still, if you can get 8 from the first 2 deliveries, it's pretty much what you would like to see.
Well, they've got to go, haven't they? Otherwise that run rate just starts to climb and climb.
Yeah, they've really got to try and get 15 from every over. That's really what Surrey need to do, I guess.
Can't really just sit there and tap the ball around.
Interestingly, Snater's got a different number on his back tonight. I'm sure he had 29 last night, and he's got 22 tonight. But other than that, he'll be looking to drag this first over back after 8 have gone from the first 2 deliveries. Now, a change in the field. The sweeper, who was Varun Chopra, has come out into the circle, and mid-on has gone back to long on. So Jacks at 8 from 2 balls, faces Snater, and he lost this one away, out towards deep mid-wicket. It's going to be clear of the fielder who's running round. It's going to be at least 4, and indeed it is. He got quite a long way underneath that, did Jacks, but got enough on it. And the other boundary fielder, other than the long on, was at deep square leg. He had to run round, but couldn't stop that. So, if you've got to face 227 in 15 overs, being 12 without loss after 3 balls, you can say that you're on target at this stage. And Aaron Finch hasn't faced a ball yet. Will Jacks is doing the job against Snater, who comes up to bowl from the river end, and that's driven away. Nice looking shot, goes away to the cover boundary for the 4th 4 in the over. Well, Surrey must have been thinking in that dressing room, what are we going to do about this? And if they were talking about it as a team, I'm sure somebody came up with, let's try and get more than 15 off each over during the power play. If we can do that, it might just make it a bit easier. And they've actually got the rate they need from the first 4 deliveries. But will Essex bowl the same number of wides and no balls as Surrey bowled, which really let them down? Here's Snater, the 5th ball, bowls to Jacks. Jacks hits it away. This will only be a single out towards deep square leg, and Aaron Finch is going to take the strike. Now, Snater, which has been a mini disaster this over, he's gone for 4 4s and a single, but if he can get Aaron Finch out first ball, it becomes perhaps the best over he's ever bowled for Essex.
Yes, it's been a bit loose, isn't it? Given Jacks way too much width to play with, and he's got to keep it tight here against Aaron Finch, probably the premier opening T20 one-day batsman in the world at the moment.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, obviously had a terrific record in the World Cup. So this is his first ball. Snater is bowling to him, and he clips it away nicely past the square leg umpire. There's going to be probably 2 here. It's being chased round towards the boundary. They've got 2. It will be stopped. They think of a 3rd decide against it. So, you've got to get 15 and over. You get 19 off the first over, and I think Surrey here have got to be looking for 75 from the first 4 overs. If they can get something like that, that's going to be putting them on course for this sort of huge score. But it's an enormous ask, because they've got to keep going at this sort of rate, and it's really who among the Essex bowlers can just bowl an over that goes for 4 or 5, and if 2 bowlers can do that in a row, then suddenly it's going to be a mountain for Surrey. 17 from 5 balls for Jacks, 2 for Finch, 19 for no wicket.
Yeah, I tell you, it'd be interesting to see what happens when Harmer brings himself on, because he got some.
He might not want to.
Well, I was going to say he got some tap last night, didn't he? And the batsmen are going to come after him.
I think he will. He'll take the mantle as the captain, of course. But
yeah, no,
the initial thought as a bowler is, I'd rather not. On the evidence of this so far, it might get easier later on, mind you, if Surrey do lose a couple of wickets. But well, 19 for no wicket is above the rate required. Can you believe it? It's going to be Quinn to bowl to Jacks, who hit 4 fours in his first over. And Quinn bowls to Jacks, who hits a very good stroke here for 6 over deep square leg. A lovely pick-up shot. This is clearly a pristine pitch here at Chelmsford. You can rely on the Essex groundsman, who's produced wickets that have suited Essex in the Championship, which obviously haven't been great batting surfaces, but have produced results for Essex. But he's produced a belter of a wicket here, and that was a lovely clean hit of a ball, a length ball, middle and leg, and put away by Jacks over deep backward square for 6. Surrey have got 25 from 7 balls, game on.
Certainly is.
What a night. This is quite something. It really is. Saw a couple of remarkable games in 2017. This is quite some night at the moment. Long way to go for Surrey, but this is picked up. It's a clean hit. He's making the most of the power play, and he's got another 6. So Quinn's first 2 balls have gone for 6. Matt Quinn made a very good start last night, actually, with the ball. He's not made a good start tonight. The problem there was in the wrong place. There is a man at deep square leg, but he's bowling a bit leg side here, David, and Jacks is just allowing the ball to just come off the middle of the bat and finding the boundary a long way away from that solitary fielder. And Surrey have 31 from 8 balls. And what an extraordinary night this is turning out to be, as Quinn bowls, and he hits this away, and it's a big hit, but it's going up towards long on. It could be a catch here, and it's taken. In fact, it's gone to mid-wicket and taken. Well, he got far too far underneath it, mid-wicket in the end, coming round to take the catch. And Jacks' explosive innings with 4 fours in his first over, 2 sixes in a row. Quinn bowled a much better delivery there. He tried to actually pick that up and hit it over long on, but he got far too far underneath it. And in the end, Bopara was there running round at mid-wicket. In fact, he made very little distance at all on that. Long on hardly had to move because mid-wicket was there, Bopara, to move across to take the catch. And it is 31 for 1. We've had 9 deliveries. And this extraordinary night continues. Surrey 196 to win. In the second over, they are 31 for 1. It's almost unbelievable.
Yeah, 29 off 8 for Will Jacks. Always heading in the wrong direction as well. And they've pushed Sam Curran up the order as well. So they're looking for pinch hitters to get them well ahead of the rate before the fielding restrictions are relaxed.
So Finch now on strike because the batsman crossed while the ball was in the air. So we've got 31 from 9 deliveries. This over so far, 6-6 wicket. Quite a good one by the standards of tonight. Quinn, can he get further success here against Finch, who's only faced the 1 ball so far? 31 for 1. Jack's an extraordinary cameo, but he's now gone. 29 from just 8 deliveries. And now it's going to be Quinn to bowl to Finch. And Finch this time just plays a quite orthodox stroke out towards mid-wicket. And there's a quick single here. He's always going to get in for that mid-wicket, picking up and throwing Bopara, but he wasn't going to run Finch out there. Finch was down the non-striker's end quickly. And Finch, you feel, 3 from 2 balls, probably knows he's got to be there through most of his innings and doesn't want to give it away early. Curran takes a strike. It's 32 for 1, and we've had 10 deliveries. And the target is 227 in 15 overs, and it's 32 for 1 after 10 balls. Well, Essex still firm favourites. They'll feel better once Finch is out, but this is turning into an extraordinary night at the county ground. In a 15 over a side game that started at 8:15. So Sam Curran on strike with a ring of 7, saving 1 in the power play. And here he gets a delivery which is going to be caught behind, I think. Yes! He went to try to pick that up and hit it away over square leg. But what he did, it might have come off the glove or the top of the bat. It's gone through to Wheater, and Sam Curran has gone straight away. And suddenly, with Curran out first ball and Finch 3 not out, Surrey are 32 for 2 after 11 deliveries. And Quinn's pour over initially, 2 sixes in a row, he suddenly set up for possibly 3 wickets in the over. He's got 2, I think we've still got a ball to go, haven't we, David? So what an extraordinary over. 2 sixes and 2 wickets in the over. It's 32 for 2 after 11 balls, and Cohen has gone first ball. Going for the pick-up shot over square leg, probably gloving it or high on the bat. Not much of a deflection, and Wheater took the catch.
Yeah, just stepped too far across the stumps, but that's the pressure of the situation, right? They've got so many runs to keep ahead of that they've got to go for pretty much everything. Finch has been the most becalmed of all the batsmen so far, but he's going to have to start going soon.
We'll need some of the strike, I guess. But Ben Folkes is a high-class player. How will he approach this, Ben Folkes? I wonder. Here he is facing Quinn. An extraordinary over from Matt Quinn. He comes up to bowl, and this is lofted away down the ground. It clears mid-off. It's going to go long on, and it's caught! Goodness me! 2 sixes and 3 wickets in the over, and another man goes first ball. What an extraordinary over this has been. It's gone up towards long on and running across in front of the black side screen at the Hayes close end. That has been taken, and that is Folkes out first ball. So what an extraordinary over from Matt Quinn. Have you ever seen anything like that? Has anybody ever gone for 2 sixes and taken 3 wickets in an over? It hasn't happened that often. But suddenly, with Finch to remember 3 not out, Surrey are 32 for 3 after 2 overs. And
Quinn will be on a hat-trick in his next over.
And he's taken 3 and 4 balls. The intervening delivery was the single for Finch. So 6-6, wicket 1, wicket. Well, and well done, Matt Quinn.
Well, I can tell you that Finch wasn't happy with Folkes there. He just held out his hands to him and said, "What are you doing?" He just lost a couple of quick wickets.
Yeah.
But,
I wasn't expecting that from Folkes first ball. I thought Folkes would probably look to try and play the anchor role and give the strike to Finch. He just went for the big hit straight away.
Ironically, they're still ahead of the rate.
They are, but they've lost 3 wickets now. They're sort of bang on target at 32, but 3 wickets down is the problem. The target 227 in 15 overs. But that was a strange shot, I thought, from and it was Tender Scarter right in the distance there at long on, who judged that very well. So what an over.
Duckworth Lewis says at the end of this over they need to be on 60.
Yeah, because of the 3 wickets. That's the key thing. So it's now going to be the start of Zampa, and he comes into bowl, and that's driven up towards cover, and we've got a dot ball as Ricky Clark plays it straight to cover. So Ricky Clark, the next option to try and get these runs quickly. We've not seen Rory Burns, perhaps that's only to be expected. Jordan Clark's also in the lineup, but Ricky Clark is the next man to have a go, and a rare dot ball as Zampa bowls, and this is a delivery which Clark plays and misses at, and Wheater whips off the bails for the stumping, but tremendous damage done for Surrey there. When you look down the list, actually, other than Finch, yeah, they've got some good strikers there, but perhaps it's not the most intimidating lineup beyond Finch. And now they've got a real problem as Clark goes onto the back foot and cracks that straight to backward point, and there's no run. And suddenly, amidst all the mayhem, Adam Zampa's come on and he's bowled 3 dot balls, which I don't think he managed to string that together last night against Wheater and Milan. 32 for 3 in a game where they need 227 in 15 overs. And he bowls, and this is an attempt to crack it away off the back. We're not going to see a maiden, are we? Attempt to crack it away off the back foot there by Clark. Finch has only faced 2 balls. Aaron Finch, the Australian opener, has faced 2 balls so far. 32 for 3 in the third. Zampa bowls to Clark, and Clark plays it away, and it goes back to Zampa on the bounce. Well, he's 1 ball short of a maiden. This is
going to be
quite
the biggest
astonishing.
Cheer of the night if this is a dot ball.
Wow. So we had 19 off the first over, then we had 13 and 3 wickets in the second, and who would have thought a maiden possibly? He's bowling to Clark, so he don't want a single here. It's hit away. Caught at cover, and it's a wicket maiden. It's even better from an Essex point of view, and it's Tom Wesley at cover, and what an over from Zampa. Finch, becalmed, frustrated. He's faced 2 balls for 3 runs. The great Australian T20 opener, while the others have thrown their wicket away. And we mentioned that the Surrey batting lineup, yeah, there's some good strikers there, but Finch is the main man. He hasn't had any of the strike, and the rest have not really been able to make, after Jax's cameo, to be able to really string much together between them. Who would have predicted a wicket maiden at this stage of proceedings? 32 for 4 after 3 overs. and this is turning into one of the great nights for Essex in T20.
Well, that was just incredible. Sorry, I lost my call there. That was just incredible. I just wanted to see a maiden over, but to get the wicket as well was just incredible.
So we've now got, well, Burns hasn't come in yet. We've got Tom Curran. It might be Burns is the one who has some effect, being an opener, being held back. And Aaron Finch has got the strike. He's only faced 2 deliveries. Matt Quinn, 3 wickets his last over. Hat-trick ball, he bowls. It's driven away on the bounce and fielded by Quinn on the follow-through. Well, I'll tell you what, if he got Finch out with a hat-trick ball there, it would have been something else. But that last over from Quinn, 6-6, wicket 1, wicket. And what was turning into a disastrous over turned into one of his best ever for Essex in T20, Matt Quinn. Well, a night here at Chelmsford, and a game that started at 8:15. We're in the 5th over. It's 32 for 4. And here he is bowling to Finch. He hits it in the air, but safe. It goes between backward point and third man and down to the boundary for 4. And surely Aaron Finch, well, if he's able to get anywhere close, it's going to be quite astonishing. This game is over as soon as Finch is out, but he is still there. He's only faced 4 balls. He's got 7 not out, but the last obstacle you feel for Essex to overcome in this situation. 36 for 4. We've always had a bit of normal cricket in the last few minutes, and we haven't had much of that tonight.
That's astonishing.
It has been an amazing night. The required rate at the moment is 16.4 and over. So here's Quinn bowling, and this is clipped away. It goes, oh, brilliant stop at short fine leg. I thought that was going to get past Zampa, but he stopped it and saved a certain 4.
The worst thing for Surrey is they've still got to keep going.
They've still got to keep going. Curran on strike there, trying to work that away fine for 4. And
now, how does the run rate work? If they still, if they get to 15 overs and they're something like 50 for 9 or something like that, that doesn't affect their.
Well, it's not going to do much good for their net run rate overall, is it?
Net run rate, okay.
So anyway, Finch has gone to 8. Curran,
because wasn't that the complaint during the World Cup where India didn't bother really going for the total?
Yeah, that was to do with basically, I think, protecting their net run rate to make sure that they qualified. 37 for 4. So it's Curran on strike. He picks this up, slices it away over third man for 4. Complete miscue. He was trying to hit it over short mid wicket for 4 or 6. He went in the exact opposite direction for 4. 41 for 4, and Tom Curran, who is a good striker, has got off the mark, but not entirely what he was looking for. We're still in this power play, and Surrey have got 41 runs, which they'll be relatively happy with, chasing this 227. The problem is they've lost 4 wickets, and have not actually gone about the task, Jacks excluded, very impressively, and Finch must be frustrated, but Curran here gets a sort of a good bouncer, and we really just saw nothing like that from Surrey in the Essex innings. That was a well executed bouncer. It's perfectly legitimate, and Curran could do nothing with that, so he stays on 4. Jack's made 29 from 8 deliveries, then Curran 0, Folkes 0, Clark a 6-ball duck, which you can't really afford, chasing 227 in 15 overs. It's 41 for 4 in the 4th over, Surrey, on BBC Essex on an extraordinary night at Chelmsford as Quinn bowls, and that's just dug out, and they look for a signal. Tell you what, if Finch had been run out there, that would have really put the tin lid on things. But Essex have managed to string together 2 pretty tight overs in the context of what we've seen tonight. A wicket maiden from Zampa, and then that was a good over from Matt Quinn, and Matt Quinn has done really very well indeed. He's got 3 for 22 in 2 overs. On another night you might say it's a bit expensive, but this is actually a match-winning performance from him in the context of when the side has got to get 227 to win. 41 for 4. We need 186 to win off 66 balls. So it's getting up towards 3 runs a ball, and really once Aaron Finch is out here you feel the game is over. 41 for 4. Surely, David?
Yeah, you'd suggest so, wouldn't you?
Unless there's somebody in that Surrey batting lineup, Lim Ramsey here, or Jay Durham actually going to do something. But Adam Zampa, who's yet to concede a run, comes into bowl, and this is clipped away out towards square leg. There's a thought of a run, but it's not there. And Aaron Finch can't add to his 8 not out. And Adam Zampa has bowled, who was didn't particularly have a good time last night. Here has bowled 7 deliveries without conceding a run on a night where the going rate has been 10 to 15 and over. 10 and over at the moment for Surrey, 15 and over for Essex. Here's Zampa bowling to Finch, who drives this one away and will get 4. That was actually a full toss. It wasn't a good delivery, and it's gone for 4. But my word, he's got to do an awful lot of that. Aaron Finch clearly was frustrated, particularly with Folkes. Folkes let himself down with his choice of shot at the very first delivery, holding out to Tender Scarter at long on. Really a wicket that Surrey couldn't afford to lose. They needed Folkes to bat with Finch, and Finch has really got to do it on his own now. He's got 12 from 7 balls. It's 45 for 4 in the 5th. The end of the power play coming up, and Finch driving away up towards mid-off, can't get a run. So despite the 4, it's been a very good over this from Zampa. The required rate 17.3 and over, and that's the end of the power play. So Essex now only need 4 men in the circle. The rest can be on the boundary, and that's very useful when a side's got to get almost 3 runs a ball. Simon Harmer, who's had no involvement in this game tonight so far, really must be thinking this captaincy lark is much easier than I thought last night. 45 for 4, you could be a much happier man at the moment. Here's Zampa coming into bowl, and misses, just pushed away into the onside, but look for a 2. That shot played with no power, and they get back for the second run comfortably enough. But Finch, well, if we can get Surrey close here, it's going to be a phenomenal effort. He's at the moment playing quite a conventional T20 innings at the start. He's got 14 from 9 balls, starved of a strike, but he's got to do it almost single-handedly with 4 wickets down. 45 for 4 in the 5th. The mountainous target of 227 after a thrilling 100 from Cameron Delport, breaking and threatening to break other records tonight. As this is clubbed away down the ground. It's going over our commentary box for 6. That's a magnificent shot from Aaron Finch.
In the river, isn't it?
That's one of the biggest hits of the night. If we hit that a bit flatter, we'd have had to be diving for cover, but it was a beautiful shot. It was picked up and hit cleanly over long on for 6. That brings up the Surrey 50. There aren't many Surrey fans in tonight, because there wasn't a lot of applause for that, but it was a beautiful clean hit. But there were plenty in the Essex innings, and really the problem for Finch is got to do it on his own here. So that was a lovely clean hit. 53 for 4 in the 5th over. Delport, if you've just joined us, made 129 from 49 balls with 14 sixes and 7 fours. Napier's 16 sixes is the biggest in a T20 match. Chris Gale holds the overall record, and this is Zampa bowling, and that's hit away, nice looking stroke, and it goes past backward point and goes for 4 more. So Zampa not quite able to match the exploits of his first over, the wicket maiden, but well, Finch, can he get Surrey close here? It just seems an impossible task, but if Essex can get him out soon, that's the match gone. But while he's there, it's just still possible. Curran 4, Finch 24 from 11 balls, 57 for 4 after 5. Remember the target 227, and even at this stage, actually, the onslaught has started from Delport. Essex ahead on runs at this stage by 8. Well, one would think that in your next 5 overs, David, the match really should be settled for Essex, but if Finch is still there, and no more than 1 more wicket goes down in the next 5, who knows what might happen.
Yeah, Essex got off to a slow start, didn't they, before Delport started to power them away.
It is extraordinary. Last night, as I say, it was a 2-man show for Essex, and it was again tonight, but much more effective than that result. If you have just joined us, as well as Delport, there was a phenomenal 57 from 22 balls from Dan Lawrence. The perfect, well, say it's a supporting role, but only in the sense that Delport had got 100, because Lawrence matched him in terms of strike rate.
So it's going to be Snater from the Hayes close end. It pulled away to leg side. It's going to be caught down a deep backward square leg, and Tom Curran perishes as well. And Aaron Finch is going to be spitting blood at the non-strikers, and he's just watched partners come and go like the days of the week. And that one was straight down the throat of deep backward square leg, and Curran goes for 4.
Yeah, Curran's right to sort of throw his head back, because you would have thought there's one fairly sensible option there. That would have been a single with a deep set field with the power play having ended. You thought that was a reasonable option with Finch at the other end, David, and to get out like that. I mean, Surrey, I think they've just been a little bit literally blasted, to coin the phrase. tonight with what their experience has been in the field, because there have been a couple of batsmen there, folks and now Tom Curran, who haven't really thought it through sort of calmly and clearly.
Well, astonishing stuff. And Aaron Finch has tried to play the cool hand, hasn't he? Just the other end, and he's still going at, he's 24 off 11. He doesn't really play. He's played that 1-6 over our heads, but most of his other shots haven't been played in anger, have they? Just been proper cricket strokes. Yet he's going at 218 strike rate. Yet his partners have come in, tried to swing away, and all got themselves out. It's 57 for 5 as Snater comes in again, driven away through the offside, and it's going to be a single down towards deep point. It's not Clark who's
this is interesting.
I can tell you that. It must be Rory Burns, surely.
Yeah, because Clark it's one of those nights for the scoreboard. Ricky Clark, who is on our on all the scoreboards cards that we've got, is shown as being out for naught in 6 balls. Apparently, according to the scoreboard, he's having a second innings. Perhaps he was so upset. It is Jordan Clark, of course. Jordan Clark and not Rory Burns. That's the other Clark.
She's clipped away into the leg side this time by Finch. It should be a couple as the slide comes in, and they get the scoreboard ticking over now. That's the important thing. It's 64-5.
But the thought was that Ricky Clark would have been so upset with his naught from 6 balls and the way he got out that he might have wanted to have another go. But no, Jordan Clark, who's in for Scott Borthwick, that's the reason. There's another Clark on the board, and it's not Rory Burns, it's Jordan Clark, who I thought might have come in earlier because of his previous exploits for Lancashire.
As Slater comes in again, bowls full. That's pulled away into the leg side. That's going to be 4 or 6. Waiting for the signal. It's going to be a flat 6 into the leg side, and the score goes to 66 for 5. And maybe Finch has still got something to say about this, but a long way to go. We're in the 6th over here on BBC Essex.
32 from 13. Jordan Clark very much an all-rounder, and I say. Almost perhaps of the 2 Clarks, he might have come in first, but Surrey decided otherwise.
Snater coming in down the slope from the Hayes close end, bowls full into the block from Finch, and that's driven down towards long on for a single. 67 for 5. But
wow, it's been quite an extraordinary night. And the actual score Surrey have got, when you're going for a target, if they'd lost 2 wickets at this point, you'd be saying that they were fairly decently placed. If you think about 3 chunks of 75 runs, they're not far adrift of that, but they are behind where they need to be now. The asking rate 17.5 and over. It was Ricky Clark who batted previously. It is definitely Jordan Clark at the crease at the moment.
4 men in the ring on the offside, long off, long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square and fine leg back as this next delivery is cut away over the top, and that's going to be 6 runs down towards deep third man.
Well, you see, this is what I was mentioning about Jordan Clark, because he's got this reputation that he's earned. One of the reasons that Surrey were very interested in him. And that was a really effortless shot. It was a cut off the back foot which went miles, and he might be out next ball, but I just got the feeling that he might have been worth a punt slightly higher up the order.
Well, Harmer's bringing himself on. In fact, the scores are pretty level. It's just the wickets that are the problem. Essex were 71 for 2. Surrey is 73 for 5 off 6. Remember, BBC Essex 765 medium wave. Online as well, bbc.co.uk, and if you download the BBC Sport app, you can keep abreast of us while you're on the move. Next home game here at Chelmsford is on Saturday the 27th at 7 p.m.
Yeah, you're doing that one, aren't you? That's Gloucestershire, I think.
I think you're doing that one, aren't you?
I think we are, yeah, and Dick's joining us at Canterbury.
People will talk, Paul, because I think we've got all the T20s together, certainly all my T20s together anyway. Harmer coming in right arm over down from the river end. This is the big swing, and is that out? This is a good stumping. Finch trying to throw the kitchen sink of that and swing it out of the ground, but he's missed everything, and it's a bit of wicket keeping that one from Wheater, but Finch in his ground.
Yeah.
Dot ball to start. Harmer won't mind this.
If Harmer can get Finch out, that will really cram a night for him after a difficult night last night.
Harmer gives us some float. That's driven down the ground. Is it going to be 4 runs? Waiting for the signal, and that's a good stop. Actually, slide coming in from the man running round at long on. He gets a rich round of applause as well from the Essex faithful.
Had to get there quickly. We'll just identify who they is and make themselves seen, but because it's out of our side in front of a Tom Pearce stand. But Long On had to get round very quickly because that was firmly hit. It wasn't that far from being a caught and bowl chance, but it was past Harmer really before he knew it.
75 for 5. It's going to be Jordan Clark on strike.
See how Clark goes here. He's got
Harmer bowls to Clark. That's a full toss, and he's clipped it away through the leg side. There's going to be a chase on here. It should be 2 runs for Surrey. It will be a comfortable 2 runs as well. 77 for 5, and Clark goes to 9 off 3.
There's Rory Burns, the England opener, still to come. Gareth Batty with all his experience. But the problem is that Surrey have sort of lacked the support act that Dan Lawrence provided for Delport.
Faster ball from Harmer, who really did fizz that in, and Jordan Clark could only hit it back to Harmer on the bounce, and it's a dot ball. Yeah, I mean, at number 10 and 11, you've probably actually got 2 pretty much firm number 11s, haven't you?
Yeah.
In Dernbach and to here. Harmer, number 11 on his back, comes in again. Oh, that's a beamer, and that's going to be called a no ball, and it's going to be a free hit. It's going to be a single off the delivery as well. So loose from Harmer.
Yeah, that'll frustrate Harmer because it's been a really good over. He got away with it to the extent that it's only the 1 run from Clark. But she's got to now bowl to Finch, knowing Finch can't get out other than run out.
79 for 5, and Finch just flexing those wrists. This is going over mid-wicket, I feel. As Harmer comes in, he stepped away already, he's pulled away in the air, it's going to be caught! It's
well,
dropped!
he wouldn't be out.
Of course, he wouldn't be out, it's a free hit, but it's gone for 4 runs.
Yeah.
Down towards short fine leg.
If you're going to drop them off a free hit. That's what I say.
But don't
Matt Quinn didn't.
Don't parry it to the boundary.
That's right. Well, that's it. He could have avoided doing that. But if you're going to drop Aaron Finch, do it off a free hit, which is what happened there for Matt Quinn. So next time will be more important.
Took a big step outside leg stump there. Was looking to heave it away over mid wicket. Got a fine edge. Quinn didn't quite stop that. So expensive delivery, that one from Harmer. And he comes into bowl again to Finch, and that's clipped away into the leg side for at least 1. They might come back for a second run here, they will do, and they'll get there comfortably as well as Lawrence comes in from deep mid-wicket. 85 for 5.
Wow, it's just been an extraordinary night, and we're still applaud Finch, who is having to deal with adversity here, mainly because of the, well, let's say the not particularly useful support he's had from some of his colleagues, but he remains there. I suppose there's still an outside chance, but you just look at this requirement, 142 from 48 balls. So essentially what you're looking at, 3 runs a ball over that long period, and the only sort of chance for Surrey really, you feel, are 2 overs back to back that go for 50 to 55 between them. If they were to be able to do that, then and not lose any wickets, it's just a chance. But surely this is just too much to ask as we head into the 8th over. 85
for 5 here on BBC Essex. Jordan Clark on strike, and Ravi Bopara taking over from the Hayes close end. He's in now, right arm over, bowls to Clark, full, that's a Yorker length. He digs it out, it's going down towards long on. Tenduscarter charges in, so it'll just be a single. 86 for 5.
Well, you see, Clark has done what supposedly his betters, who came in ahead of him, he failed to do. He's just played the obvious shot. You know, it's the first ball of an over. You've got Aaron Finch at the other end. Just give him the strike, and all credit for Jordan Clark. Even though he was just doing the obvious thing, he did it, and some of the previous batsmen didn't.
Bopara into Finch. He's going to swing away, and he's bowled inside edge onto off stump, and you'd have to say that is going to be that for Surrey. 86 for 6. Bopara gets a wicket with his second ball. Another full length delivery, Yorker length. Finch trying to put it over long on, gets a thick inside edge and onto off stump, and Finch loses his wicket for 40. It's a decent 40 as well from Finch.
Yeah, just an impossible task for him. And well, Ravi's had a fairly quiet night. What did he do? He came in for about a couple of deliveries, didn't he? A man who tends to like to play himself in. He faced 1 ball for 1 run, but he's done the essential job from the Essex point of view of winning the game with that one moment. I mean, effectively it was 95% won, but I think any remaining doubt has surely gone with that. Nice delivery from Bopara. Finch went for the big hit. Finch will be frustrated thinking that obviously it was an awfully big ask, but he could have had a little bit more help from some of the senior batsmen, and the pressure on Finch eventually told, and well, surely Essex are just going to be able to ease to a comfortable victory here. It's going to do a lot of good for their net run rate. 86 for 6 on a night where nobody else has got a game in the Southern Group. Essex are going to head alongside Middlesex to the top of the table. Should be rather good.
Can I just say that was excellent from Rory Burns. His warm-up shot as he came into bat was a forward defensive. Here comes Bopara, right arm over. That's pulled away to leg side. That could be 4 runs. There's a chase on here for Dan Rons. Can he get there? There's ball's going to win it. I think the slide comes in, but it goes over the boundary rope, and Rory Burns starts off with a 4.
Well, it would be ironic. I do think the game's over now. Finch is out, even though we've got the England opener coming out. But it would be ironic, given that Clark has probably batted better than most of the Surrey all of them apart from Will Jacks, is if Burns also starts to play well, and you will then start to feel that Surrey might have severely got their batting line-up wrong. But Burns did well there, but obviously it's not his natural game to score at this rate, which is why he's coming in where he is with 18.5 required per over. Halfway point.
Bopara. Right arm over from the Hayes close end bowls to Burns, who clips this down towards long on, and it's 91 for 6.
I suppose they would have needed Jason Roy opening with Aaron Finch tonight, and the two still to be at the crease at this point. That's the realistic, looking at that sort of target, David, 227 in 15 overs. They would have needed Roy to be playing and Roy and Finch still to be together at this point. And you'd feel if that was the situation that they might be in the game, but they probably would be. But there just hasn't been the support for Finch, really.
Next delivery is outside off stump. That should be a wide, actually. Jordan Clark on strike, reaching for that one, and umpire easy to give a wide. 92 for 6.
And remember, amidst all this, where we've seen 226 runs in the Essex innings, and we've got 91 for 6 in inside 8 overs. We've had a wicket maiden in this innings as well from Adam Zampa.
Bopara in, bowls to Clark, pulls away on the leg side. That's monstrous. That's going to go for 6, flat and high, and that's probably out of the park as well. That's a good pull shot from Jordan Clark, and that wide's a costly one from Bopara.
Well, I just sort of, remember Clark's reputation. They've got their batting line-up wrong, David. I mean, this guy should have been coming in somewhat earlier. He's batted sensibly. That was a nice, straightforward one. He just picked it up on length, took on the deep square leg, but he's sort of only been him and Jacks that have really sort of made any significant contribution in support of Finch, but you would have thought it's going to be beyond Surrey now, but just the indications are that Jordan Clark might have come in perhaps where his namesake did, or even earlier, or his near namesake, because Ricky Clark's got an E on the end, but Jordan Clark hasn't.
Papara in again, up to stumps, bowls to Clark, who gets a slow delivery and pulls it away into the leg side. It's going to be another 6 over mid-wicket in the community stand. It clears. So a couple of 6s to finish the over. Score goes to 104. There's still 136 required off 7 overs.
Yeah, and I suppose that's just given Surrey a little bit of hope. 7 overs to go, and 198 for 6. The target is 227. So 129 required in 8 overs. And I suppose those 2 6s have just reignited a little bit of hope for Surrey, but you would have thought that, given that they didn't think that Jordan Clark was the man to do the job, he's done as well as anybody, really. Surely this is Essex's game now that they've got Finch out. Something is going to have to go remarkably wrong from here. In fact, it's 123 needed, not 129, just upstated the scoreboard. 123 from 8 overs. So an asking rate of 18 and over. And they've got to do that every over these 7 overs.
Harmer in, bowls. That's clipped away just short of third man. That was up in the air for a brief amount of time from Burns. Top edge. And a single to the total, 105 for 6. Well, as long as Clark's there, maybe they've got an outside chance, but it's a very, very, very outside chance.
They'll be regretting those wickets that were rather given away.
Yeah,
they really will.
The two Curran brothers especially, and Folkes culpable.
And Ricky Clark, yeah.
Harmer in bowls, and that's clipped into the leg side, and it's going to be at least a single. They might come back for a second. Oh, they're going to come back for a second. There's a run-out chance here if the throw's good. And the umpire gives Rory Burns in. The throw was wild from Tenduscarter over the stumps or at the stumps. That could have been in trouble for Burns.
Yeah, I thought the running was quite good there, actually. He did well to get back in. Yeah, you certainly feel they got the two Clarks the wrong way around in the batting lineup. We were alluding to it with the appearance of Clark for a second time on the scoreboard with Jordan rather than Ricky, but it might have been better to have Jordan first.
Harmer drops this short, that's into the pads, that's going to be a dot ball, 107 for 6.
That's a terrific delivery from Harmer in the situation. It's a sort of variation that really earlier on from Surrey, just really firing that in. Harmer worried about the over rate.
And he's in again now. It's just full. That's punched down the ground. It's going to fall short of the fielder. It should just be a single as the throw comes in. 108 for 6.
And to see if it tells us there what the cut-off time. It's 8 minutes past 10 now. One of the later finishes we've had in T20 here at Chelmsford.
10:30 is the cut-off time.
Oh, there, you can see it on the board there.
Harmer bowls. That's cut away through the offside this time. Point fields in front of the pavilion, and a single to Burns. 108 for 6.
It shouldn't matter too much. I suppose Burns probably rotate strike, giving it to Clark is the best hope, but the asking rate's gone above 19s now.
Harmer bowls to Clark, who clubs this one away up in the air. Now that's got height on it. Has he got legs? It's coming down towards and over the pavilion, sorry, over the stand away to our right hand side, and 6 runs to finish the over. Had a lot of height, that one. Didn't realise it was going to get the legs right until the end, and 6 more to finish the over. 115 for 6.
Yeah, he's done well, hasn't he, Jordan Clark? Signed by Surrey this year. Not seen a lot of him really during the season, but it's been a good innings from him in what looks a fairly hopeless situation now. But the way he's striking the ball, I would say apart from Jacks right at the start, he's the only Surrey batsman. Finch did it intermittently, but the only Surrey batsman to really threaten to hit with the sort of clean striking that we saw from Delport and Lawrence earlier on. He's done it quite regularly now. 112 from 36 balls.
It's a big ask, isn't it?
Enormous. 19 and over almost.
Start of the 9th here on BBC Essex as Bopara in, bowls a slow delivery. That's guided down towards short third man. Just be a single for Burns. He goes to 8 off 4, brings Clark back onto strike. It
needs an over that goes for 25, and for that to happen, one of the Essex bowlers is going to have to bowl badly, and Essex not bowled badly at all tonight, and there's actually some rather decent figures in comparison to their Surrey counterparts.
It's going to need a few overs to go for 25, I think.
If 2 of them were to go for 25, 27, just makes a difference if they don't lose any wickets.
So, Bopara ready to come in again. Clark on strike. Dangerous Clark. He's 32 off 12 at the moment as Bopara bowls. That's cut away into the offside, down towards point though. It's well struck. Fumbled by the fielder down in front of the pavilion. That's Dan Lawrence, but it keeps it to a single, and it's 117 for 6.
Wow.
It's not a shabby rate, is it, from Surrey, but they've just lost too many wickets.
Did we decide earlier that Delport's 100 was the 3rd fastest in T20?
I think the announcer said it was 5th fastest in the UK.
Right.
As Bopara's in again, right arm round, reverse sweep from Burns, and that all gets him in a muddle. I think that's going to be byes, leg byes, I think. Just waiting for the signal. No, he's got a little bit of bat on that. Single Burns. He goes to 9, 118 for 6.
In fact, it was the 5th fastest. I'd like to have seen the other 4. Crikey.
Bopara turns at the top of his mark again. Just trying to get that ball dry, finding it hard to grip. It's moist the surface, had quite a lot of rain throughout the day, and just before the start of play as Bopara bowls, cut away into the offside again. Point is in play here as well as Lawrence gets the throw-in off quick as Clark tries to come back for a second run. It's a good bit of fielding, good cricket all round. Another run to the total, 34 for Clark, 119 for 6, and Surrey still require 108 to win. Duckworth-Lewis at the end of this over should be 157. As Bopara waits at the top of his mark again. The the field to set itself. Papara coming right arm round to the left-handed Burns. In a low crouch, steps across his stance, flips it over the wicket-keeper's head. That should be 4 runs. It's good batting from Burns. Playing the ball delicately, just working the angles, and 4 more to the total, 123 for 6.
Yeah, see, the record book should be, well, online, updated by now, so we to see if we can have a little look at that and see what we can find.
The gentleman in front of us trying to start a Mexican wave, only one of them though. Bopara coming in again, right arm round to Burns, who punches down the ground. That's into the leg side, but it's going to find the fielder on the bounce. It's Dan Lawrence doing the fielding. Throw's going to come in. He's got to be quick here, Clark, and he is. Good bit of running between these two. Quick off the mark and quick to come back again, and 2 more to finish the over. Surrey are 125 for 6.
Yeah, so just the other 100 odd required on the last 4 overs. That's the problem. The last 5 overs, that's the snag for them. And yeah, I mean, surely an impossible situation. But these two, particularly Clark, have batted as well as anybody really. 102 required in 5 overs, and you very rarely see anything achieved of that magnitude. 20 and over required. So it is going to take something almost unprecedented for Surrey to win this game from here. And interesting, Essex were just starting to pull clear, but not that far clear actually. Just shows you how many runs were scored in the last 5 overs. I think it was almost 100 runs in the Essex innings. As the first ball here from Zampa is clubbed back on the bounce there, but miscued by Clark. So the first ball is a dot. And didn't really want that with such a remarkable number of runs required in the over, the first ball being a dot. So 102 required, and just 4 overs and 5 balls. The Zampa bowls, and he clubs this away, and it goes on the bounce to short third man. There's just going to be the single, and you just think that it's just too much here for Surrey to get this number of runs in this period of time. The rate 20 up to over 21 and over now, and they still need 101, and they've only got 28 deliveries, and so it's going to be a fantastic victory this for Essex, which is really going to set their T20 campaign up and running, and they know that they've got an absolute star in Cameron Delport, and indeed Dan Lawrence from tonight's evidence. As Zampa bowls, and this is Burns picking that up. That's a big hit, and it goes cleanly over mid-wicket for 6, but they need plenty more of those in this over. And at least that was a nice strike from Rory Burns. I think it's more evidence that they've just got the batting line-up wrong. You put your class players, and Burns is one, albeit with this sort of situation, you might as well have him higher up the order and have others sort of batting around him.
Well, he's shown he can play the shorter form of the game, isn't he?
Yeah, certainly. And it's been a good innings from him, and what he's been trying to do. It's been very, very difficult, of course, but he's given it his best shot. 95 from 27 balls. And if they were 20 or 30 runs closer, they might have a chance, but surely they've got no chance at all in this situation, with Essex just needing to hold things together to get a very, very good victory here. 132 for 6. Good little partnership. 21 Burns, 35 Clark. And Zampa bowls, and Burns goes for a big heave over mid-wicket, and it goes straight through to Wheater. And of course it's virtually every delivery that has to sort of sail out of the park, or at least go for 4, and that's just really, really tough ask. And Zampa bowls again. An attempted reverse sweep. It's uphill for LBW. It just flies away into the offside, entirely off the pad. This is turning out to be a very good over from Zampa, just putting the match further and further out of the reach of Surrey. This extraordinary night at Chelmsford, a night that looked like it might be a rain out at one point. Is Zampa bowling again, and this is another very good delivery, which can only just drive firmly back down the pitch there. Clark, well, no criticism of Clark and Burns really, they've got too much to do. That was a fine over from Adam Zampa, just closing out the game just a little bit more. There was the 1-6, but nothing like what Surrey needed. 133 for 6, they need 94 from 24 deliveries with 4 wickets in hand.
He does bowl that. Lots of disguise on it.
Indeed, and he's had a better night tonight than I think last night. So let's have a look at our leading scorers in terms of T20 hundreds in balls faced. So this is just the getting to the 100. Chris Gale leading the way on 30 balls for the Royal Challengers Bangalore, and then the first one we see actually in T20 is Andrew Simons, 34 balls Kent against Middlesex at Maidstone in 2004. As here's Bopara bowling, and Burns plays a good clubbing stroke out towards deep mid wicket and collects a single. Perfectly respectable shot, but in the circumstances not enough for Surrey. 93 required from 23 balls. So we've got Andrew Simons 34 balls Kent against Middlesex, Martin Guptill 35 balls Worcestershire against Northants, and then we've got Scott Starris 37 balls Sussex against Gloucestershire, Dan Christian 37 Nottinghamshire against Northants, and then we've got Cameron Delport on 38 Essex Surrey. This is hit away in the air by Clark. Possible catching chance at cover. It actually falls just over the fielder's head. Doesn't really matter, I don't think. It was one that was always a very, very difficult chance for cover running back, and in the end he couldn't quite get there. And Clark, who deserves a bit of luck actually, he's played well, will get a couple of runs. It's the 50 partnership up. 134 for 6 now, and a little bit of fortune there for Clark. 136 for 6 with the 2 runs. He goes to 37, and it's now 91 required, and there are 22 deliveries to go. Surely an impossible task. Yeah, so that's the 5th fastest in T20.
What's the umpire having a word with Ravi here for?
Well, having a discussion.
I mean, like a long discussion as well. What's going on? And Clark, is he saying if I take my guard? Yeah, he's taking his guard way outside off stump.
Yes,
so
I think it's.
But Bopara's just saying how wide can I bowl it?
Absolutely, 136 for 6. So he bowls, and that's outside the off stump, and is signalled a wide. So Bopara gets his question answered. That was too wide. Say that the batsman there, Clark, was standing well outside off stump, looking for the boundary to the leg side. Bopara, conscious of the fact that time is an issue, the cut off, what we reckon is 10:32 now. It's quite small print it's on the board there, which you can see, which is great. So we've got a 1, a 2 and a wide. Essex making a few field changes. 137 for 6. So it's 90 still from 22 deliveries, but surely impossible. Clark and Burns have done as well as they possibly could, and here Clark gives an inelegant heave, a desperate shot, plays and misses, and it goes through to Wheater, and it's 90 from 21.
He knows better than me, but I'm not entirely sure why he's changed his guard. He was doing so well.
He was doing well, but I feel from Surrey's point of view he should have come in higher. In fact, both of these guys probably ought to have done. 137 for 6, and Bopara bowls, and Clark on the bounce sends it back to Bopara. A couple of dot balls back to back, just taking it further and further away from Surrey. It's now 90 from 20, and well, that's 27 runs and over. So we're getting to the point where it becomes mathematically impossible very soon. 137 for 6, as this is good delivery outside the off stump, but this time not signalled a wide, and Clark tries to play a drive down the ground, but he knows the cause is lost. It has been really for some time. Certainly the moment that Finch got out, we knew it was all over, and to be honest, you could make a case for saying it was all over by the time Essex made that staggering score in 15 overs. As this is a delivery which is a slower ball from Bopara. It's signalled as 4 because it's gone, I think it's looped over Wheater and gone away for 4. There might have been a bit of on, but it actually was a good over from Bopara altogether. That doesn't really matter much at all in the final analysis. Clark has gone for 41. I think he did get a bit of bat on that, just over the head of Wheater, but that was a good over from Bopara, and it's 141 for 4. There are 86 required from 18 deliveries, and Essex are going to be, well, very pleased with their night's work, given that there's nothing else been going on in the T20 Southern Group tonight. They're going to be up at the top with Middlesex, albeit with a defeat and a victory, but they'll be pleased with their night's work tonight. 86 from 18. So Harmer going to bowl to Burns, And Burns comes down the pitch and drives it down the ground out towards long on, and it's gone for 6. It's a good shot from Burns on a night of so many 6s. That one probably the
30th.
The lowest. So 30.
Yeah.
That's probably the sort of lowest key one in terms of importance. And I suppose Lawrence and Delport hit all the Essex 6s, didn't they? So they got, what, 20 between them? Yeah, so Surrey have managed 10. And it's a 147 for 6. 17 deliveries to go. Harmer bowls to Burns, and Burns picks that up, lofts it away. It's going out towards the mid-wicket. It could be a catching chance. A great catch if it's taken. It's dropped by Snater. It was very, very difficult, and they've got back for 2. He made a really good effort to get in there. That would have been a fantastic grab if he'd managed to hold on, running in from the boundary way in. And, well, frustratingly for Surrey, the asking rate just up. It's almost 30 runs and over now. It's 149 for 6. And that one's hit away out towards cover. They scamper through for a single, which doesn't really matter. Great victory this for Essex, and so they can really got a bit of a break now after quite a busy week with a championship match here, the trip to Lords. Should have taken a bit out of them, but this has been a fantastic comeback tonight. 15 deliveries to go, 77 required, forget about that. And a wonderful effort from Essex, particularly from Delport and Lawrence, but the bowlers have done much better than their Surrey counterparts. This one driven along the ground for a single up towards long on for Clark, who's stuck in there, but he's actually lost a bit of his timing, Clark, in the frustration of the match situation. You can't really blame him, to be honest. 151 for 6, 14 deliveries to go, still 76 away from their target. As Harmer bowls, and this is driven away out towards cover, and there is no run. I guess when you look back at the Essex innings, there's an interesting point. At 9 overs, they had only 109 runs on the board. So Essex scored 117 in the last 6 overs, which absolutely has devastated Surrey, as this is driven firmly back down the pitch. And well, more frustration here for Clark. He's swinging his bat in frustration. He goes straight back to Harmer, but he shouldn't berate himself. He probably ought to have come in a bit higher in the order. But really, this has been an impossible task for Surrey, and certainly from the point that Finch got out. And the crowd starting to make their way out now. It's 152 for 6. Notionally, 75 required from 2 overs, which means that barring no balls and wides, Essex are going to win. And in actual fact, Essex have rather outperformed Surrey in terms of conceding no balls and wides, because there were quite a few in that. In fact, looking at the number of 3-leg buys, there were 3 helpings of no balls, and there were 6 wides in the Essex innings, so quite a few extras on hand, which helped the Essex cause. At one point there was a ball that was a no ball that went for 6, of course, as well. But it's all about Delport and Lawrence, whose contribution mustn't be forgotten. And Essex have held it together well in the fields. We come to the end here as Quinn bowls, and that's in a situation where you've got 75 to win from 2 overs, and as long as you don't bowl a no-ball free hit, it's impossible for the opposition. He's technically there, having bowled a no-ball, Quinn, given Surrey the most mathematical outside chance, but I don't think he has to worry too much. But I tell you what, if it was 45 from 2 overs, that would have been a mini disaster. As it is, it's 75 from 2 overs. I don't think there needs to be cause for concern. 73 still required as Burns drives that one away down the ground for a single up towards long on.
That's a really good response as well.
Yeah, it was. And he's done well tonight, Quinn, to be honest. I mean, I missed all this 25 in 2 overs and 1 ball, but 3 wickets coming in the space of 4 deliveries. And actually that is really what did for Surrey. You just can't afford to lose 3 wickets and 4 balls. Some tame dismissals, and poor old Aaron Finch stranded at the non-striker's end, very, very frustrated with his colleagues. Yes, actually, the Essex start, when you look back at it, this is outside the off stump and a wide, so it's a little bit untidy here from Quinn, but as I say, the game is over.
He's just got to be careful.
It's just, there will be that extra 6 runs. It's not going to make any difference in this context. I think they could struggle to maybe bowl their penultimate over before we get to the cut-off point, but it will be of little use for Surrey, the extra 6 runs in this situation. Remember the target 227, they still need 71. We're in the penultimate over. It's hit away by Clark, this for a run out towards cover, so they get a single. So we've had what, a no ball, a 1, a wide and a single, and I suppose that in the overall con will say with 7.5 and over, it's a good over, so he's still doing okay. 156 for 6 on an extraordinary night. It was actually quite an ordinary start, 23 from the first 3 overs before Delport got going. At that point, Surrey would have been reasonably pleased. 156 for 6. This is lofted away by Burns. Nice looking shot. Burns, of course, playing the orthodox cricket shots, has got himself a boundary there as long on and long off converge. 4 runs go to the total. So what it means is that there are now 70 runs required with that boundary for Burns. Score 157 for 6.
The way the ball's carrying tonight, I mean, he hardly hit that. It's like playing on the high veld.
9 deliveries to go, because there have been a couple of extra balls in this over, so it's technically 70 off 9 deliveries. Quinn bowls, and this is delivery which is going over the stumps. Burns tries to back away to hit it square into the onside, but the tail of the tape is what happened after that 3rd over in the Essex Eagles. The 4th over went for 15. The 5th over went for 27. That would have been Curran's over, wouldn't it? And that was where the blue touch paper was lit, if you like, in the Essex innings. 65 from the first 5 overs. There was then quite a tight over that went for just 6. As here is a stroke clubbed away down the ground for a single by Burns for 1. And as I say, it's all academic. Now just 8 balls to go. It's long over from Quinn. 7 balls to go. Still 65 required. So, and that was the last bit of respite, really, that an over that went for 6, because then the 7th over went for 13, the 8th over went for 10, the 9th over went for 15, the 10th over went for 23. This is where the mayhem really started, and this is played away by Clark just down towards backward point, and they go a couple of runs. What Surrey are trying to do here is just try and minimise the damage on their net run rate, but it's still going to be quite significant. The end of the over, 54 for 6, 63 required off the last over. And it's what happened from the 9th over onwards, really, that did the damage. 109 for 9 overs. At that point, I think we thought maybe a score of 180, 190 was on the cards. But then, say, 23 off the 10th over, 24 off the 11th over, 14 off the 12th over, 23 off the 13th. Then another 22 off the 14th. And the last ball, the last over, actually only went for 11. When the wicket went down, when Delport got out. Delport's 129 from 49 balls with 7 4s and 4 6s. As I say, Graham Napier hit 16 in 2008. So up in the all-time lists of fastest T20 hundreds, we reckon the 5th fastest domestically, a little bit further down the list for all T20 hundreds, but very high on the list for most 6s hit in an innings. And we think in 3rd place there in that particular list. But it's been a night of astonishing scores, and this is a delivery which is is it appeal for a catch behind by Wheater? Not out. First ball of the last over being bowled by Snater.
That's a fantastic take.
Great take, but not out.
It's given us leg byes as well.
In actual fact, this score for Surrey off 14 overs is not bad. if this was them batting first, they'd be a bit worried about the 6 wickets down, but they'd be relatively happy with it. So 5 balls to go and 63 needed. Snater having the the luxury of bowling a no pressure final over here. Just wants to see the match out on this incredible night at Chelmsford as he comes into bowl. And here Stuart Clark is going to be out, caught at cover. Almost certainly the catch taken, and well, just for a moment, is it Harmer? He basically almost threatened to put that one down, but in the end it was gathered in. It wasn't Harmer, in actual fact, was West. Was it?
Yeah, Wesley.
Yeah, Wesley. It took a long time to come down, but the catch taken, and that's the end of a brave knock from Clark, who should have come in earlier. He's gone for 45, and Snater gets a nice little wicket to add to his T20 successes. In a nice no-pressure situation. Tom Wesley, in the end, took that, just threatened to juggle it. It would have been actually maybe appropriate to have had 5 grabs at that, Cameron Delport style, He might have thought, if I do this tonight, if I take 5 grabs at this, I might get 129 in the next game. But no, he took it at the first attempt, and he's got the wicket. And Essex moving closer to this tremendous victory.
They certainly are. It's been a wonderful evening here at Essex. To think we were quite worried we might not get a game in when we first got here. The rain was coming down, the clouds had moved in, but after an hour they got something going.